exciting. I am so excited. We've just been having so much fun just before the call with Dr. Amani. Am I saying your name right, girl?
Yeah.
Amani.
Dr. Amani. Actually, you're almost pronouncing it in the Arabic way. Amani.
Amani. Well,
yeah. But English people say Amani.
My ex-husband grew up in Baghdad. How about that? And speaks perfect Arabic. And I love the Arabic language.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it.
My mom is from Baghdad.
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
Yeah.
I knew there must have been some reason that we sort of clicked right away, didn't we? Right?
For several reasons.
I know. I got attracted to you and you to me, and that was it. So this is my dear friend, Dr. Amani Saeed, and she's living in Spain, and she's a scientist. She's been doing all kinds of things. She even dances and sings, and she said she'd even sing for us here on the program today.
Let's see, if you guys aren't too sensitive, I'll gladly sing for you.
Okay. Well, let's do some improvisation. You like to experiment. You're an experimenter, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if anybody can tell us if they can see us on Facebook, that would be very, very cool.
So
Facebook is kind of crazy. Sometimes they don't show you the comments for a long time. So if anybody is anybody watching us?
Exactly. Anybody out there? Hello?
Anybody out there at all? That would be so cool if somebody could say hi or something like that, you know?
Oh, we got a heart.
Oh, and who's watching? Can you have a look?
Siane Sirokasto. I don't know if they pronounce.
Yes. But I can't see anything. See, this is what happened last time, that the comments didn't come through at all.
Oh, no, there. Yes, hello. So I think we have to refresh every now and then. That's what I did with my Facebook.
That's what you're right.
Guys, be patient with us. We're still figuring out the technology of how this works.
Yes.
You see Siana's comment. Hi, Siana. Good to have you here.
Yeah, exciting. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to go into my Facebook group again. I've refreshed. Hey, you're right, Amani. We have to refresh it.
Yeah, let's see. I think I can even write while I'm on the live. That's so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see my comments?
Diana, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. This is really cool. I've refreshed. Now I have to turn down. Now I have to turn down my volume. Yeah, here, this is really cool. Okay, I've got my see, I'm missing words, Amani.
That's all right.
I have to tell you, I'm used to speaking German all day long.
We can mix it up. I speak German, English, whatever you want.
So I was about to introduce you, Amani, Dr. Amani Saeed from Spain, and now I am going to ask her to tell you a little bit more about her, because she is an amazing, versatile, and has done so many things, and I'm so excited to have her here. The topic of our video today, of our interview, our wisdom. Oh, by the way, this is my very first interview.
Woo! Let's celebrate! That's why we have to sing and dance today.
Right. Let's have a party.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
We're gonna have a party.
Are you ready?
First interview. Yeah, this is
the premiere.
The first, this is my first Wednesday Wisdom interview, which is going to be taking place every single Wednesday at this time. And I'm so excited to have Amani on here. So Amani, tell us about yourself.
I will. Where do I begin? Well, maybe I can start with my professional background, since I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm an academic. I did my PhD in biology because ever since I was a little kid, I was so curious, Judy, about life. So life fascinated me. Whenever I would go to biology class, for me, it was like being in a movie, right? I would be sitting there like, yeah, tell me more. And then what happened? And then what happened?
You know what? Biology was my most favorite class. And I was really good in biology. And I loved to learn about the dinucleic acid and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I love biology. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. And I think that curiosity, like that led me to science, really as beyond biology. It's really understanding life.
Yeah.
And I think that has been really the red thread, like in my choices, like always trying to figure out things, understand how this works, becoming a teacher, because I realized that knowledge and, you know, education is so valuable. So after I left science, I decided, hey, I want to become a teacher, because like Nelson Mandela says, education is the most powerful weapon to change the world, right?
Absolutely, girl. If we were able to get education to all peoples of the earth, what kind of a world would we have? Because most of the problems of the world is just because of lack of education.
Absolutely.
Right?
And the right kind of education. So I ended up actually leaving the school world. So I finished my PhD. I did a little bit of swing dancing for 2 years in Berlin because I love dancing. And then I thought, okay, I need to go back and stimulate my intellect. So I like, okay, let's become a science teacher because I love science and I love teaching. But 4 years in the school system got me frustrated because I felt like, and nothing against the teachers, you know, I don't think it's the people in the system, but the way the structure of it is like killing kids' creativity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. But first of all, please tell our listeners where you come from. Where do you live? How come you were in Germany? Where did you live in Germany? Were you in Switzerland? I mean, this is exciting. This is a woman of the world, guys. Like, she is a global citizen.
Yeah, it's getting complicated these days to say where I'm from, because when you said I'm from Spain, I'm like, am I from Spain? Well, it's true. I live in Spain. Before Spain, I lived in Switzerland for almost 2 years. Before that, I lived in Germany for 11 years. So,
wow, where did you live?
In Dresden, in Saxony.
Oh, you're in Dresden. Yes, of course.
Dresden.
Right.
Ja, no, klar.
Yeah, super.
And I studied there, and then I decided to move to Berlin to do swing dancing, and then I was a teacher there for 4 years.
Doing swing dancing?
So I was doing swing dancing for 2 years full time. Wow. So I was hanging out with a lot of dancers and singers and musicians. It was awesome.
Crazy people.
Awesome. Yeah, very creative and crazy people. Where you just live every day, like you don't have these like plans. What am I going to do?
No plans, no strategy.
No strategy, no money. No money.
You're just like and enjoy and follow our passion.
Exactly.
No money.
Yeah, and after 2 years of living that life, I realized, well, you know, I actually do want to accomplish more than just having fun dancing and hanging out with musicians.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
I can't.
I can understand that. Yeah.
I actually went back to school. Can you imagine having done a PhD? I
can understand that. I went back and studied again too. People said, why are you studying so much? Because I love to learn.
Exactly.
I just love to learn.
Yeah.
You know?
It's never ending.
What did you study then?
To become a teacher, basically. So I moved back to Sweden, finished
back to Sweden? You didn't mention Sweden yet.
Oh, I grew up in Sweden. So I was trying to reverse engineer it. So I grew up in Sweden.
Where were you born?
Lebanon, Beirut.
Lebanon.
Yeah.
Khalil Gibran.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love his work. Yeah. Okay.
So I left Lebanon when I was 4 years old. My parents moved because of the civil war.
Okay.
But I don't have that many memories or experience. Yeah.
And then you moved to Sweden.
When I was a kid, yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm totally getting you all confused. Reverse engineering doesn't work. But anyway, to do my teaching studies, I moved back to Sweden. I studied there to become a teacher, and then I worked as a teacher. And then I moved to Switzerland. And when I was in Switzerland, I got fired. I don't know how many of you have ever been fired in your life. It's one of those devastating, like really hard hit to your ego, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I got fired once from a job where I was in Singapore.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why. I just couldn't find out why, but I think I was too mouthy.
Yeah. I think I was also very too loud and too rebellic. And
yeah, you say what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't really Arbeitgeber, people who you work for don't really like that. They want you to be nice and quiet and how do you say angepasst? They like adapted and you know, fit in. Don't rock the boat.
And I think that's why I've been changing so many careers in my life, because I've never been the type that likes to fit in. I'm always like trying to change things, and I have issues with like this old school authority. I don't mind leadership, like people who are really inspiring you, that's great, but not like who are controlling you.
Yeah.
So I got fired, and then I was really scared, you know, like, what do I do now? I didn't have a backup plan. And
no plan B.
No plan B. But I was really pushed into a corner to finally, you know, make a decision there and then. Okay, Amani, are you gonna pursue your dreams for once and do something that you're freaking scared of doing, or are you gonna again just find a safe job?
Yeah, like the Matrix, you know, you take the blue pill or the red pill, and you took the red pill.
I did. So that's why I have my own business today as a career coach for scientists. So I basically chose a niche that is based on my history, my background, my personal story, because whoever is a scientist watching us or will watch this later, it's tough emotionally, mentally, it can be challenging. And a lot of PhDs graduate into unemployment and they're so lost and they don't know what they want. Because you've been there are many reasons for that, but you've been focusing so much on the research that you haven't looked up to see what's out there, right?
Exactly.
So, but for me, it's actually beyond helping people finding a job. For me, it's about the topic we want to address today. It's about fear.
Can you take your beads away from your microphone?
Is it making a sound?
Yeah, it was. So, yes, go on. That is our topic for today, isn't it?
Yeah. And I've realized in my own experience, but also in the people that I'm coaching, that the main obstacle in our path to achieve whatever it is we want is fear.
Absolutely.
You know, and for scientists,
absolutely.
Right?
It's all over. Like for singers, that's the biggest obstacle. Schlechthin. Now, I don't know how to say schlechthin. Absolutely the biggest obstacle, because I know a lot of people who wanted to come into my courses or wanted to have some private teaching from me. And they said, you know what, I had to really overcome myself to call you. I really had to overcome myself to sign up for your course because I was so afraid. Now, it's because people, what are they afraid of? They're afraid of being made fun of. They're afraid of failing. They're afraid of not being good enough. They're afraid of being ridiculed. You know, they're being afraid of being rejected. All of these things cause fear. Right?
And there's actually a very good scientific explanation for all of that. It's not just because we're born cowards and we're sissies. But
tell us.
I'll tell you so you guys don't have to feel bad.
Right. Tell us the scientific reason behind it.
Yeah, and it is a relief when you realize it, because like, okay, it's not just me, it's everybody else going through the same process. Evolutionary, if you look back, we've lived in tribes for many, many, many years, longer than we've lived in this civilized world. But even if we think of our civilized world, we're still living in tribes. You know, we have our tribes on Facebook, we have our tribes in you know, the singers, the jazz musicians, like we have a need to belong to a tribe, right? But back in the day, if your tribe would reject you, and if your tribe didn't like you, and your tribe, what's that word? Ostracized? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
ostracized.
they kick you out. What happens? What would happen back in the day? You're dead.
You're dead.
Like, literally.
No
like,
food,
no food,
no water,
no protection, no water. Like you're out there in the wild, you can get eaten by a predator. Like we were living in an unsafe environment. So our brain has been programmed to equal rejection and not being accepted, not being loved, being judged, being humiliated by others equals death. And think about it, like people are more afraid of public speaking / singing, like it's very similar to
or going live on a video or a Facebook Live.
Some people are more afraid of that than death. It's like one of the number one fears, like public speaking and public humiliation. Right?
Yeah. It's because we don't believe enough in ourselves. Once we start to get a little more confident, right? Now, this is it. This is what I find in singing. Once people, you know, there's just at some point, you just have to jump, right? You just have the courage. You just have the courage to take the first step.
Yeah.
And once people start to take that courage and say, okay, I can do this. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I am going to do this. And they start to allow themselves, for example, with singing, to let their voice out. And I tell them all the time, it's not going to be perfect. There is no perfect. We don't know, there's nothing in this world that is perfect. So don't worry about it. And then they start to, you know, once they start really getting up a little more confident, they start saying, okay, I'm not dying. They think they're dying once they get up there in front of the group with the microphone, right? They think they're dying.
Sometimes it literally feels like you're dying.
Well, it really responds to what you just said. Really, people think they're going to die. And they die 1,000 deaths before they get up on stage and take that microphone in their hand and just, you know, go for it. And once they do that, because they have to use a microphone, you have to stand in front of a group in my courses. Once they get up there and do that, and they let their voice out, they open their throat, they let that voice out, and everybody's going, yay, because it's so exciting, isn't it? To see people being courageous and just going for it, saying, I tell my students, you got to say, fuck it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. You, first of all, just got to get your voice out there. And once they've done that, you know, like right in the very first beginning of the course, I'm going to say, okay, who wants to get on the microphone and sing the song that we've just learned? Nobody wants on the microphone. By the end of the course, they're fighting over who can get on the microphone. So, you know, it's really interesting. So actually, this thing about fear is all in our head, isn't it? It's just a little monster up in our head telling us, trying to protect us from you know, dying, protecting us and keeping us back from doing anything that would bring us out of our comfort zone. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And you cannot develop in your life if you're not prepared to get out of your comfort zone and try things out, right?
So I'm going to share with you guys how I managed to overcome it. And some people who see me going live today, they go like, oh, but you're an extrovert and it's so easy for extroverts. I mean, you know, you're naturally outgoing and blah, blah, blah. I can say that's BS. That's bullshit, because it doesn't matter if you're an extrovert or introvert. We all have these fears. We all have the fear of getting rejected. All of us, right? And
we have the fear of making mistakes. I've been on stage for 35 years and I'm still afraid of, you know, well, I'm not really afraid, but you know,
you're nervous.
Yeah, you're nervous. You've got that what do you call that in your stomach? Right?
Butterflies.
Or
Yeah.
butterflies or whatever, you know.
But that's a good sign because it means you're going to do something important. You're just about to do
Exactly.
something important. You're
Right.
excited and
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. It's necessary. If you go
Yeah.
on stage and just another a concert,
Yeah.
nothing special. Every time I go on stage, I'm nervous.
Yeah. It gives you
Every
that boost of adrenaline and the energy, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it does take courage to get out there and put yourself in front of a group and, maybe
Mm.
even make a big fool of yourself because you don't know beforehand. So go ahead. Tell us
So
your
I'm going to tell you where I was when I was younger. So in my 20s, as a scientist, you always have to present your work, your research, right?
right.
On a regular basis, actually. And I would be terrified as soon as it was my turn. So we had these like rotations. It would be like
Mhm.
maybe every 2 months, every 3 months. I would be like the days before I wasn't sleeping. I was like having stomach pain. I mean, it was serious, like terror.
Mm.
And one time I have to give it a talk to the entire institute of like 120 people. And that was like for 3 months, I wasn't sleeping. It was crazy how afraid I was of being publicly humiliated, right? But
Yeah.
what happened over the years is like because I was forced to do it and then I became a teacher. I mean, as a teacher, you're in front of people all the time.
All the time.
But what really helped me to break through is when I took a coaching course. I actually found myself a coach, and this course was called
What kind of a coach?
and like I thought it was just about public speaking because honestly, the course was called Speak and Inspire. So I'm like, oh, great, I'm going to
Oh.
become a public speaker. But once I started the course, it was actually about personal development. Most of the
Ah,
exercises were about loving myself, accepting myself.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
had to do this really tough exercise every day for 30 days where I had to look myself in the mirror and
Mm-hmm.
talk to myself and go, Amani, I am proud of you for. And then I had to say 7 things I was proud. And then I had to do, like, there were 3 questions. And then you go, Amani, I forgive you for. And then
Wonderful.
7 things I forgive myself for. And the last one was, Amani, I commit to you. Boom. 7 things.
That's exactly what I tell my students, Amani. I tell them, look in the mirror in the morning and say, good morning, my gorgeous. How are you? You are gorgeous, brilliant, talented, and fabulous.
Yeah.
And I love you. I love you very, very much. And in the beginning, I thought to myself, because I learned this myself through a Louise Hay
Yeah.
training course. I'm
Yeah.
also a trained Louise Hay, a motivational trainer, and it's
Yeah.
all about self-love. It's all
Yeah.
about that. And this
Yeah.
is one of her exercises is to, go into the mirror and tell yourself that you love. Look into your eyes and
Yeah.
tell yourself that you love yourself. Well, you come
Mm.
kind of.
And I tell you, it's awkward. It's so awkward, right? Like you're not used to talking to yourself like that. I felt
No.
weird. But I tell you, Judy, towards the end of that course, I was in love with myself. I would look in the mirror and I would be like, I love you.
Gorgeous.
I love you. You're so, oh, you're just, I
You.
mean, seriously, seriously, for the first time in my life, fell in love with myself.
Yeah.
And that's when you can inspire. That's when you can speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm really absolutely with you
Yeah.
on that. This is the key to
Yeah.
everything is learning to love yourself, learning to accept yourself for who you are with all of your flaws, with all of your mistakes that you've made, all of the things that you don't know how to do yet,
Mm.
right? You
Mm.
have to love everything about yourself, your body,
Mm.
your face.
Yeah.
It's so amazing what happens when you start to love yourself. I know exactly what you're talking about
It
because,
radiates.
yeah,
And people can see the love. Like people, once I started working on myself, I would always be surprised by people's comments because I didn't know what they're talking about. But they would say, oh, you radiate love or you radiate positivity. I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, everybody's like positive or loving. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
But
or
yeah,
you have a good you have so eine wunderschöne Ausstrahlung.
right?
You
And
have
that comes
such a
from within.
radiance.
That comes from
Yes,
within
yes,
because when
yes.
you love yourself, when you accept yourself, when you're happy about yourself, and I'm not talking I'm on a cloud all the time and I think I'm
No.
amazing all the time, but I have done a lot of healing, let's say, to accept me because I tell you, most of us have the opposite program. Most of us have a program going on, and I see that with my coaches.
Absolutely.
They have an autopilot program going on that is saying the opposite. It's like, you're not good enough. You suck at this. Oh, you're so
You made a mistake again.
made a mistake. Why can't you be better? Why can't you get up earlier in the morning? Oh, you made it. Oh, like it's constant, like
negative
beating,
talk.
beating.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
when I tell them, write down your limiting beliefs, write down your thoughts about yourself, they're like, oh, wow, I think like that about me. I'm like, yeah. Would you ever speak like that to your friend? Like to
Exactly.
Would you say that to somebody you love? Like, you suck, you're miserable, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Like there you did.
You're lazy.
You're an idiot. How could you do that?
Yeah.
No. Your friend, if they do something wrong, what do? You lift them up. You encourage them.
Take them in their arms, don't you? You take that little child in you and you take that little girl or that little boy in your arms and you give that little boy and little girl all the love that you have and say, I love you.
Exactly.
And you are okay. And everything is going to be fine. Everything's working out for you. Right? That's what we would tell a friend, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And we have to learn to say that to ourselves.
We have to learn to be our own best friend. I think we are absolutely you know what, guys, I didn't know Amani before. And we're in our OGAC group. That's one way challenge. We're learning how to build our Facebook group to get more.
To build a tribe, basically.
Build a tribe, right? Exactly.
It's 2 in 1. We're building an online business, but the bigger mission is to build a tribe of people who are thriving in their lives, whether it's through singing, whether it's through creating the dream career. We want to live in a world where people feel fulfilled and happy, where they love themselves and they love people around them.
Exactly. Yeah. So I didn't know Amani before, and I was attracted to her, spirit. And because my spirit's probably on the same vibration as her spirit, we got sort of connected. Yeah, we started going, right. Yeah. And I truly believe that when you vibrate at a higher vibration, then you are exuding another energy. Now, this is what I also tell my singers, right? If you're in a negative energy and you're exuding, I'm not doing well, and I can't do this, and life is shitty, and I've got this job that I don't like. And I keep telling them, the more that you speak those words, more of exactly that is what you're going to get.
Absolutely.
Right? So, but it all starts with learning to love yourself. What would you do for yourself if you're unhappy with a job? What would you do for yourself or for a friend? Would try to encourage that friend to find another job or another way or another, get on another path. Right.
So let's then talk about fear, because the foundation is to love yourself, and this is actually a practice. Like if you love somebody, you don't go like one time you show them love and then that's it, right?
No, you got to practice it.
Yeah, and it's like because you love them, you want to show it. Like you're constantly learning to bring that love. And the same thing with yourself. It's a relationship that you want to nurture. So when it comes to fear, like fear is kind of like, this is how I learned how to deal with fear. Like I start to see fear as my friend, like my imaginary.
Exactly.
Like, this is Miss F. She's sitting next to me, you can't see her. So Miss F comes sometimes and like, Amani, you shouldn't go live because you're gonna look stupid. And like, what do you know about fear? I mean, you're no expert. You're gonna talk about fear or confidence. How do you know? You're not a psychologist. was like, okay, Miss F, calm down. I'm not going to claim I'm an expert, but I do have some experience that I can share with people that it could benefit them. No, don't you think?
Don't you think so?
Okay, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, maybe you're right. So what's the worst thing that can happen? They're going to think you're stupid. Oh, what happens then? I don't know, but they're going to think you're stupid. I was like, that's okay. I don't mind if they think I'm stupid. I can live with that. Okay, you're right. And then she calms down.
Yeah, this is like our itty bitty shitty committee.
Yeah.
Right?
But sometimes Miss F is right. You know, sometimes Miss F is actually there to protect me.
Miss F.
Sometimes you can have these ideas where I'm going to go like, I don't know, hiking Kilimanjaro. And you're like, wait a second, you're not fit. You're right, I'm not fit. So how can you go hiking? Okay.
Yeah.
Then what do? You create a plan. And that's what I teach my students too. Okay, if you're afraid about going that path because you think you don't have the experience, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the skills, that could be true. Like, we're not going to live in La La Land and think do anything.
Yeah.
But then create a plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Fear could be right. Okay, you're not experienced.
Absolutely.
Great, go and get the experience.
Exactly. Lois Gilbert did a video, and she was talking about fear. Says, "Oh, come on along with us, fear, in the car, right? You can go in the back seat, but you are not coming on the driver's wheel. I'm on the driver's wheel."
Yeah.
Fear is always going to accompany us. Whatever we do, wherever we live, whatever happens, we're always going to have fear accompanying us. And that's really, really cute the way you talk to Miss F. I think that's Miss F.
Yeah, Miss F, calm down, Miss F.
Miss F. Are you agreed to this, Miss F?
Yeah. No, really, like an overprotective friend. That's what she is most of the time. And sometimes she's right, sometimes she's not. So
well, actually, Miss F wants the best for you, right?
Yeah.
She wants to protect you. She wants the very, very best for you. And she doesn't realize that she's holding you back sometimes of doing things that you really want to do. She's going to say, Amani, you can't go to Spain. Are you out of your mind? You can't do that.
You was very loud about the Spain thing. As
if I would know, right?
You don't speak Spanish? You don't have friends there? Or you...
What do you think my Miss F said to me when I left Canada? I could not speak a word of German. And I just went on tour with a rock group, me as a classical musician, going on tour with a rock group. Yeah. And I said, well, I can't speak a word of German. And, anyways, I should be getting a job now. I just finished university. What kind of a life are you leading here? You're going off and just taking off to Europe and going on a tour with some kind of group that you don't even know? Like, we didn't know each other. And we met in Copenhagen, and it's just, sometimes our fear protects us. But on the other hand, we have a gut feeling of what we have to do, right? We know we have to do this thing. And Miss F will probably just sit back in the back car and fold her arms and say, well, all right, go ahead. Right?
Yeah. And too much fear, actually. Oh, wait, I wanted to share something neuroscientific again, because I'm a little bit of a nerd.
Yeah.
I like nerdy stuff. So actually, the signaling pathway in our brain, when it comes to fear and excitement, they're identical.
Exactly.
So our brain can actually not distinguish whether you're excited or whether you're afraid. Like, think about it. Next time you're excited, pay attention to what are the symptoms. Like, your body gets all tensed up, you're vibrating, the heartbeat.
Adrenaline.
Same symptoms as when you're afraid. So it's only about shifting the meaning. Like, instead of saying, you know what fear could stand for? Fear can stand for future events already ruined. Like, I'm going to fail. I'm going to be miserable, blah, blah, blah. Or fear can stand for feeling excited and ready.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to write that down.
Write it
down.
Yeah, write it down.
I'm writing it down.
Type it in here. Feeling excited.
I don't know where to write it in here. I'd have to write it in the Facebook group.
We can write it in the comments here.
Yeah.
Feeling
excited
and
feeling
ready.
What?
Excited and ready. Ready to go.
excited
Or it could be feeling, no,
and
future
ready.
events already
Feeling excited and ready.
ruined, ruined.
Fear.
So that means if we're the drivers and fear is sitting there next to us and saying, things are going to go down the drain and you're going to fail and you're going to be miserable and you're going to go bankrupt as an entrepreneur, you're going to be like, you know what, fear? I'm excited. I am curious about what's on the other side, although I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to freaking jump. It's going to be so amazing.
Exactly.
Right? And then your brain doesn't know the difference. So you have a choice.
Always.
Which meaning are you going to give it? You're going to give it excitement or are you going to give fear to your brain?
Right, exactly.
It's a choice.
The thing is, we need courage to carry out the things that we want to do, even if fear is holding us back, right? I can remember when I was working in the German school system, and I was already 57 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm 71.
Judy, how old? Oh my God. Judy, I was like, how old are you? You look like 57 now. What are you talking about?
I believe it.
Seriously? You're 71?
I swear. You can take, I think there's a mistake in my passport somewhere.
Is it like all the spirituality? And
I think it's the music. I think it's the way you think. I think it's the way I live. I'm not perfect in any way. Absolutely not. But I try to live healthy. I eat clean. I don't drink. I don't smoke.
Wow.
Well, I drink a glass of wine once in a while. I like that, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I want to look like you when I'm 71. Okay, I'm doing what you're doing. Write me a list. Write me a list.
Yeah, I think singing makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. But anyways, what I wanted to tell you is with 57, I was going to get out of the school system. I said, no, that ain't for me. I loved the kids. The kids loved me. I was in German school, speaking German and teaching music, like, 24 hours a week, like every single day, just teaching music. You go crazy. There were no books. There was nothing in the school. I just had to improvise. And that is one of my great, what do you call that?
Talent, strength.
Talent is to improvise.
Yeah.
That's why I love being a jazz musician, right?
Yeah.
So I just made things up every single day, what I would do. And, it was really crazy. But at the end, I started to realize, you know what? I'm a performer. I got to get out there. I got to sing. And so I got out of the school system and everybody said, are you crazy? And they're all looking at their calendars. I've got to go to school to 20,025. And I'm, they're looking and crossing off the days. I said, guys, you only live once.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have the talents that you do. Everybody has talents. Everybody. Yeah. Everybody can do and go and do what they want.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got out of the school and they said, you know what? You get everything paid for. You all of your holidays. What happens if you get sick?
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know what? If I stay here, I will get sick.
Get sick.
And you know what happened? I got out of school in December. And in March, I had already a 6-month engagement in Singapore to sing at the third best hotel of the world with excellent money.
Wow.
And I think this is it. People are afraid of the outcome, and it takes courage to do that. I took at least 1.5 years to decide, to leave the school. You're leaving this comfortable job with all of this comfortable money.
Yeah.
And then you say, no, I'm not doing it. I don't know what's coming. I don't know if I'm going to die or, if I'm going to have to go on welfare or whatever. But I have to do what my heart tells me, and I have to follow.
What happened? Hello? Oops. I don't know if I'm still live, but I lost Judy here.
Is scary, and you don't know the outcome of what it's going to be like, then they pull back, right?
Mm. I missed you there for a bit. You disappeared.
Oh, really?
I didn't disappear for you. Yeah, for like
No.
half a minute you were gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I did.
Okay.
I
Oh.
saw you. Yeah, I just said this is that it gets to the point where people are at that point where they want to do something new, something scary. It's very
Mm,
scary, and it takes a lot of courage to say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know if I'll end up in jail or if I'll be
mm,
on welfare or whatever,
mm,
but I have to do this. And I think this is
mm,
where a lot of people are just they just don't want to use that courage.
mm.
What do you think is holding people up?
Yeah, I think that they haven't practiced enough, because I think to gain confidence and to learn how to overcome fear, it's really a matter of practicing. You know,
Right.
it's like, okay, once you go up and you do a public speaking, okay, you go like, oh yeah, I did, I survived. But it's not enough to do it once. Like you
Yeah,
you
you
do
have to
it, you do it
practice
over and over and
everything.
over and over until it becomes like second
Right.
nature, and that fear becomes that little excitement, the butterflies that you have in your
Right.
belly,
So
instead of like constant.
what
So
do you suggest? What do you
I
suggest?
suggest.
What do you people do? Like I tell my people they should do meditation every morning. They should write in their
Mm-hmm,
journals. They should do
mm-hmm,
affirmations. They should make up
mm-hmm,
different affirmations and, write them down, stick
mm-hmm,
them on your mirror, put them in your car, learn them off by heart.
mm-hmm.
What are your suggestions?
Absolutely. I mean, I think you can address it from different angles, because we were talking about it's like the foundation is self-love. So
Yeah.
yeah, so if you work on that, but that program can it takes like some grinding. It's not going to happen overnight, at least not for me. I don't know for other people. For me,
It
it took
does not take go
yeah,
happen overnight. I've been working
yeah,
on self-love for 25 years.
yeah. To reach a point where I feel like, okay, I feel most of the time I'm feeling that inner peace and love towards myself. I feel it. And when I do have those dips, I had one yesterday.
Oh,
I had a dip and I had problems sleeping. I didn't sleep all night.
I
And
have
then
those sometimes.
I was blaming myself for it. I was blaming myself for it. I was like, Amani, you're a coach and you know better, and you have all these personal development tools, and how can you let this incident get you that much that you cannot
Mhm.
let go of it? And that's where self-love for me is also just to accept that I am a human being, that
Exactly.
sometimes I will have these emotions just taking over. Maybe it's like an entire day, maybe it's a couple of hours, okay, and just surrender to it, because the more I'm
Exactly.
resisting it, the more I go like, I don't want to feel like this, the more I feel like it. So now,
Exactly.
yeah,
You attract that, don't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and also that just be compassionate and say, it's okay. You're upset, be upset, but don't just sit there and linger in it for like weeks and days and months. Like
Right.
then it
Exactly.
becomes a choice. Then you're actually choosing to stay in that state.
Yeah.
But
I'm
if
going to tell
something
you
happened, yeah,
I'm
it's
going to
normal.
tell you something. I have gained a little weight.
Yeah.
Like not much, maybe 4 kilos, like other people say, she got something going on up here. But for me, there's a certain level. I do not allow myself to go over a certain level.
Yeah.
So I have had trouble for about 2 months of,
Mm.
I wasn't eating well. I was sort of, I've get this eating everything I saw, and I thought to myself, you know what, Judy, you're not feeling all that well. You've got sort of headaches and you're kind of a little bit nauseous, and
Mm-hmm.
you're a little bit dizzy. And do you want this? Do you want this? Or do
Mm-hmm.
you want to feel better? And
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly that when I change my nutrition
Mm.
and eat clean, that means no
Mm.
sugar, no alcohol,
Mm.
a lot of
Like
vegetables,
plant-based, basically. Okay.
plant-based.
Yeah.
Well, not just plant-based, all protein. I
Yeah.
also eat chicken and fish, but I don't eat
Mm-hmm.
anything else. But
Mm-hmm.
I decided on Saturday, I didn't want to. I had no desire to start this metabolic balance. There was just, I said, no, I don't wanna. And then I always talk to my little child. I even write it in my journal. Good morning, sweetheart, how are you? And then the little child answers, I'm kind of upset about this. And then
higher, yeah,
the higher self answers, well, tell me about it, sweetheart. What's going on? I talk to myself all the time in my journal every single day. Anyways, I said to myself, I said, well, I know you don't want to do this, darling, but you know that on the third or the fourth day, you're going to really feel amazing, right? Yeah. Yeah, and I know you don't feel like doing it, I took Glaubersalz, right, to clean out my system. I don't know what you call that in English.
I don't know what that is. Like salt, like you sprinkle
Epsom salts? Is that Epsom salts? Do people do that in America?
I don't know. Never heard of it.
It's some kind of stuff that you drink to clean out your whole system. It gets rid of all the toxins and the poisons and so on and so forth. So, and then I fasted for 2 days, more or less, just with raw vegetables. And I tell you, honest to God, just through my change of my Ernährung, of my nutrition, it changes your brain.
Absolutely.
I really believe that your nutrition has to do with how your brain works. Because I notice that today's my 5th day. I'm feeling amazing. No more headaches.
You look amazing.
No more nauseous.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping better. I slept so fantastically last night.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, there you go, darling. Sometimes you just have to overcome yourself you have to decide. It's a decision. I'm not doing always what I want, but sometimes you have to make a decision to do things that is going to make you feel better, right?
Yeah. And you just described the process, Judy. You described that you talk to yourself. So to be able to become aware, you need to have that internal dialogue to understand what's going on, right?
Exactly.
And then the next thing you did was take responsibility and start to take action to change the situation. And I think that is the key. So that's another approach. Like if you are afraid or whatever situation you're stuck in, like start having that inner dialogue and journal, because when you write it down, it becomes so clear. It's right there in front of you.
Absolutely.
And then you can make a decision. What am I going to do about this? Right. And the things you can control and you can change, you do it. The things you can, you just have to let go of, because certain things, it's not in our control.
Right. And some things you can't change, that beautiful little prayer, oh Lord, give me the strength to change the things that I can change, the courage to change the things, to accept. Wait a second. How does it go?
I don't remember it, but I've heard it. Yes.
Yeah. Give me the strength to change the things that I can change.
And let's go. The courage,
right. And the wisdom to know the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Right. Some things you can change and some things you can't change.
Yeah.
And you've got to learn the wisdom between the two. Right. And I find that is really helps me a lot. But you know what? We should maybe sort of round up and do a little, what do you call it? A reprise?
A wrap up? A reprise?
A reprise? That's what we say. That's what we say in music. A reprise means, pulling it all together. What do you call that in English?
Closure? I'm not sure which word.
Yeah, something like a closure.
Conclusion.
Isn't it awful when you can't speak?
Take home message. I mean, there are several options there.
Okay, I remember all the words all the time, right? Because I've got it in my head.
That you can't.
Yeah, right? It's an affirmation that you're telling yourself. But anyways, it will come. We want to make at the end of an essay, you make a conclusion. Thank you very much, right?
You're welcome.
So we want to make maybe a couple of points here to conclude. And then I want to ask you how people can work with you And you've got a wonderful freebie that you want to offer our listeners and how they can get that. So let's go over what we talked about today. Let's do the scientific.
So basically, fear is something we have programmed in over evolution, over millions or maybe hundred thousands of years. Us as human beings, fear is a survival mechanism, right? So the fear of being rejected, fear of not being loved, it's all about survival.
Right.
The key is awareness. Once you become aware that that's just a survival mechanism, Miss F is trying to protect me, I can then have that internal dialogue, being aware, and then figure out, is this really a serious fear? Is this like going to jeopardize my life or not? No, it's not. If people think I'm stupid on Facebook, it's not. So I can still go ahead and do it. And then the other thing, that our body does not distinguish between excitement and fear. So it's all about you shifting the meaning you give the situation. So you can say, I'm excited about getting live on Facebook, or you can say, I'm freaking scared. I'm going to make a fool of myself on Facebook. It's going to be the same neural pathways that are being stimulated in your brain and the same symptoms in your body. So it's all a matter of choice. And what else did we cover? Remind me.
Self-love.
Self-love, right?
Right.
So if you really, it's the key, because if you really dig deep, dig, and work on that inner child and loving yourself and healing all those wounds that you have from your childhoods that for some reason you got a message.
Yourself,
forgiving yourself,
being compassionate with yourself when you make a mistake or you didn't do the things the way you wanted to do them.
But also committing to yourself. That's why I love that exercise I told you about. Like, you're proud of yourself, you praise yourself, you forgive yourself, but then you also commit. Like, you commit, I'm going to take action. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be happy. You commit, and then you take action.
And then you take action. I think that is where a lot of people, myself included, I haven't always been an action taking kind of person, but now, it's a process, isn't it? It's a step by step process that you learn every day a little bit more than you did yesterday, and patient with ourselves, that we can't do everything all at once, right? And so the thing is to start and to say, you know what, from now on, girl, we're in this together with your higher self. I always think of it as, being in it with your higher self and your little child, that you take that child in its arms, say, come on, darling, I love you, and I'm going to be here for you. And we're going to rock this, right? Whatever happens, I'm here. And to also, what I'm starting to learn more and more is to give it up to the universe, to surrender to the power of the universe, to God, or whatever great spirit, or whatever you want to call it, because we're not in this thing. We're not in this world all by ourselves. We are always being, supported, and we're being loved. And if we can just sort of surrender and say, you know what, everything is always working out for me. And that thought is so beruhigend. It's so calming for me to think, I'm not in this. I'm not doing all this by myself. And to stop struggling, right? No more struggle, no more hustle. Just get in the right flow of higher energy and let it happen. And when things don't work out the way you planned, forgive yourself and start again.
Exactly. You can always press reset. Always.
Exactly. If at first you do not succeed, try again.
And it's okay to fail.
It's okay to fail. And we're going to have to fail. I remember I started 2.5 years ago on my business here. And I was so overwhelmed. Amani, you can't imagine it. But that would
a new session, a new interview.
That's a new session. But this is so amazing. this.
I can talk with you forever. This is so great.
This is just amazing. I think we're going to have to hook up together after this, right? Stay on the line afterwards. Just we can talk a couple of minutes.
Absolutely.
So, could you please write in the chat down there where they can get your freebie? Now I was looking at your freebie, and now it's called seven steps.
Yeah, so it's a 7-step goal setting formula. So we talked a lot about fear today, but you know, the remedy that we hadn't a chance to dive into is really action, right? So if you really, really want to overcome fear, you need to take action. So it's important then to have a plan, right?
Yeah,
and have a clear intention and vision. What is that thing that is pulling you, not something that is pushing you, something that inspires you, something that is pulling you. What is it that you want? And then create those action steps to get there. So I have developed like a 7-step goal setting formula to be able to set up those goals and achieve them. So if you want to have that, it's a PDF. I can email it to you. So all you guys need to do, if you're watching this live or if you're watching it later on the replay, no problem. Just type goal in the comments, or type goal, and then I'll send it off to you, whoever wants to have it. We'll keep it.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that sounds great. I definitely want to get it.
Yeah, you can have it.
I'm always learning and trying to develop what my weaker points, which I have also a great deal of. And it took, just think of this. It took me longer, Amani. It's taken me 3 months to learn really how to use Zoom to go live on Facebook. I've had such a panic. And the first couple of times, it just didn't work, you know, and I was going into Facebook instead of looking at the Zoom, and I was just full of panic. And then another friend of ours in our group, Brian Menzel, he was just such a darling. He got on a Zoom call with me.
I saw that for 2 hours. That's so sweet.
And he got on a Zoom call and just went through every step with me. And it was just amazing. And so, you have to be patient sometimes. Things don't you just don't do them once and all of a sudden you know how to do it. So
and ask for help. It's okay to ask
for help, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it takes time sometimes for things to develop. I've been trying for a whole year to do a messenger bot. Today I finally published it on
I tell you, I get so excited about all these small steps we achieve together. It's like, we did it.
My Betty bot, she is now so excited, and she's going to be in touch with all my people on my Facebook group. So this is so cool. Anyways, it's just been so amazing having you here on my Wednesday Wisdom interview, my very first interview. And I want to encourage you all, take advantage of her freebie. And I'm sure you have a website, don't you?
I do. I can also write that in the comments.
Yeah,
if you want to look it up.
And you have courses that you're offering, or you're doing coaching if people want to.
I do coaching. I mean, I mainly focus on scientists, but of course, this kind of coaching I do, of course, could help anybody. It's about personal development. It's career
same
coaching.
With me. I'm doing also this kind of coaching. We're on the same road, Amani. I'm doing it more or less for singers and for speakers because it's the same basis. And you're doing it for scientists. So,
but the foundation is the same. It's about empowering people, empowering them to pursue whatever they want.
It's the universal law of love. That's what it's all about, I think. All righty. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you so much.